So you might have seen a conversation pop up about this guy once or twice over the past few years, because we have made videos about him. One in the context of the Montreal Canadiens, and another in terms of the Vancouver Canucks, although this video was 3 years ago, based off reports at the time. But today, we are revisiting this particular name on the Boston Bruins because he has been written about on the Fourth Period's 2025 Summer Trade Watch list. As we had said in the previous video on this channel, this list has been updated. As of July 22nd, 2025, we have ourselves some new names, new teams, new links, and a whole bunch of new conversations. Like, literally, I say this all the time, but if you are in the realm of trying to figure out stuff to talk about, like, literally the first name on this article has all these teams linked to him. So there are a number of things that we can dive into when it comes to NHL trade rumors and ideas. And besides, it's the end of July. We can get the rumor mill started with trade ideas and other things, because if you scroll all the way down to the name that we had seen on the screen, past Bowen Byram, past Marco Rossi, on to number 16, we have ourselves the latest on Boston Bruins center, Pavel Zacha. 28 years old, $4.75 million cap hit. The Bruins explored the trade market on Zacha during the season, and there is belief out there that Boston is looking, again, at moving him. His 10-team no-trade list has turned into an 8-team no-trade list on July 1st, so he does have some say in where he ends up, if dealt. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. Now, aside Montreal, who was talked about in the previous video we made on this YouTube channel, that I think was just more so speculation and folks going out there and tossing ideas onto the fan. But teams reportedly linked to Pavel Zacha via the Fourth Period, you have Vancouver and Utah. That's it. It's the Canucks and the Mammoth. Potentially, who really knows? Are they in some sort of a bidding war? Are they dueling it out? Are they trying to one-up each other? I mean, Zacha, in the local beat, he hasn't really been talked about here in places like the province or elsewhere in Vancouver discourse. It's just really the Fourth Period that has Zacha linked to the Canucks. It seems more so like Vancouver's tied to guys like Jack Roslovic and potentially Mason McTavish too, if that's ever capable of happening. But Pavel Zacha is a really intriguing name to dive into here, and I think he's almost perfect for what the Vancouver Canucks could be looking for. As we had said, 28 years old, $4.75 million cap hit, but if you scroll down and you take a look at his body of work, you'll note a few interesting things. Firstly, Jonathan Lekerimaki's birthday. Happy birthday to him, he's 21. But secondly, Pavel Zacha was the 6th overall pick in the 2015 NHL Entry Draft. A stacked NHL draft, one of the best we have seen in a very long time. Take a look at the guys here. Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel, Dylan Strome. We don't tolerate Dylan Strome slander here on these parts of the internet. He has been very good lately. Mitch Marner, Noah Hanifin, Pavel Zacha is right there. For the longest time, Zacha never lived up to the same potential as the guys ahead of him, or even some of the guys after him, excluding the defense, because there are some pretty good defenders here in Zach Werenski and Provorov. But after Zacha, you had guys like Timo Meier, Mikko Rantanen, Jake DeBrusk, Kyle Connor, Matthew Barzal, Brock Besser, Konechny. Jack Roslovic is over here, so that's kind of interesting to see. And then followed up by Noah Juulsen and Anthony Beauvillier. So a lot of Canucks ties in this first round in 2015. But Pavel Zacha was taken 6th overall by New Jersey because he was a big center who had a lot of tangible qualities. He had some offensive potential and some shooting power. He was a very, very good profile. And that's why the New Jersey Devils took him 6th overall, not to mention the fact that in 14-15, he had some pretty good numbers at the OHL level and at the World Juniors. 2 points in 5 games is not great, but the fact that he was playing at the World Juniors as an underage player speaks volumes. Inevitably, though, Pavel Zacha kind of found himself a role in New Jersey's middle six, was never really able to capitalize on that top six draft caliber pedigree that he had in 2015. He was not at the same level of a Meyer or a Rantanen or a Strome or a Marner. Actually, no, I don't know. I take that back. He was kind of in the same territory as Strome, but Strome became a lot better later on, so it's kind of okay. But Zacha, during his days with the New Jersey Devils, there already were rumors saying that the Vancouver Canucks wanted this guy, and that's why we talked about it back in 2022. Inevitably, though, Zacha was sent over to Boston, where he started to perform very well. This was some of the best hockey of his career. 57 points in 82 games, 59 points in 78 games. Pavel Zacha was a top 6 center monster, because the Bruins didn't really have anybody else after Krejci and Bergeron left. Now, this previous season, Zacha only had 47 points in 82 games played, but you could say that a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Bruins kinda stunk, and a lot of folks in Boston weren't really doing all too well. This is why we saw Pavel Zacha trade rumors earlier on in the year. Hey, if Boston's starting to sell guys away, they traded away Marchand, they traded away Brandon Carlo, maybe Pavel Zacha could be next, and it's why we saw those rumors pop up, and it's why we made the video about Montreal. Now here's the thing, when you talk about Vancouver and Utah being linked to Pavel Zacha, either of these two teams could use Zacha, but I do think the Canucks could use him more. This is because if you go over to the Canucks and their lines, it's very clear. There is a gap at second-line center there. Filip Chytil cannot be trusted to be a full-time second-line center for 82 games. Pettersson, even. I mean, he wasn't playing like a top center at all in the previous season's worth of play. You just gotta hope he bounces back. I'm a lot more optimistic on that than he will, but you gotta hope still. So if you have Pettersson, Chytil, Ratiu, Bluger, it's not particularly great. You would love to have a guy like Zacha come in, be a 45 to 50 point top 6 center who is big, who can move the puck well, who can score 20 goals a year. There can be some very good plays made with Kane, Garland, and Zacha. Two guys that are a bit bigger and more physical. Garland, who is a very primary play driver. There can be some very good chemistry there. And if you go over to the Utah Mammoth, I mean, this is a team that has a lot of center support, I think, that is up and coming. Of course, Logan Cooley and Barrett Hayton are not necessarily like top-of-the-line guys right now, but they're so young and they're getting so good that I think there is a lot of versatility upcoming for the Utah Mammoth. And you have Nick Schmaltz, who can play center as well. Although I will say, his name has been kind of linked out there in trade rumors too, so who knows if he is really going to be an option. Guess what? Kerfoot can also play center too. All of these guys can play center. There is a lot of versatility in Utah, and that is without J.J. Peterka entering the mix as well. So I'm just sitting here thinking, man, if the Utah Hockey Club can get Pavel Zacha in a trade, they will be the team to watch, I think. They already made some big splashes. They already have some really good young talent. Dylan Genther, don't get me started on him. Clayton Keller had 90 points this previous year. That is absolutely astounding. There's so much to pay attention to when it comes to the Utah Hockey Club that, quite frankly, I'm kind of jealous. I'm like, yeah, my Vancouver Canucks, they're not doing anywhere near as good. They don't have anywhere near the same amount of confidence from the fan base that the Utah club does. Now, I get it, Canucks fans have been used to being disappointed for years, but can we pull one out here? They got Andrei Kuzmenko a few years ago out of the bidding war that had seen many teams vie for his services. Can they win against Utah to grab a Pavel Zacha? Or is Zacha not even Vancouver's primary guy? Would they rather go after a McTavish or a Roslovic? Why not get both? Why not send away all that extra money with the blue line or whatever and try to open up more roster spots up front? The defense core is already pretty good, I'd say. So, with all that in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Pavel Zacha sweepstakes, how Vancouver and Utah are both linked. Who do you think's more likely to get him? Do you think he's going to get traded? Do you think he has any of these teams on his 8-team no-trade list? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.